45 is an embarrassment. I can't deal with his temperament. He is so arrogant. I have so much resentment. It just makes me want to scream. How do people think MAGA is the American dream? Let's start the stream.
It is man.
I'm completely unhinged. My rights have been infringed. That man makes me so upset. He's a Nazi and a world threat. I'm completely unhinged. My life has been synced. All his interviews I've been. We need to impeach now. Impeach him now.
John, you're a little controversial. You're talking about illegal immigration. I said it's illegal.
Get out! Help your customer. Fuck off! Fuck off!
I'm completely unhinged.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the first meeting of the Always Trumper Club. You've heard of the Never Trumpers. We are the Always Trumper Club. No matter what, we will always support Donald J. Trump. Trump 2028. Fuck, man. The fucking Never Trumpers. I mean, I like Vance, but he was a Never Trumper. He started out as a Never Trumper, and look what the trend is with these people. Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Alex Jones. Alex Jones is the one that hurts, because he's been right about a lot of stuff, the conspiracy theories. But, you know, fuck all that. Always Trumper. You know, we have America First people, but we don't have people that claim to be always Trumpers. So that's what we are, and the leftists going to cry about it. And yeah, I love that intro even more every time. And that's just the beginning, what we're going to do on this channel with the AI music. Like, there's so much potential. And the reason the stream is late tonight, we've been a little inconsistent, doing a little bit of planning for this channel, other channels, just working on the schedule. And so that's why we are delayed. We're going to be moving this stream to Thursday nights. You know, a colleague of mine switched their streams back to Wednesday. And, you know, since this stream hasn't really taken off yet, figured, you know what, let's just roll with it. We'll go to Thursday. And, you know, Wednesdays we're a little gay anyways. You know, a lot of times Wednesday night would come around and be like, man, and just like wanted to be a liberal piece of shit and not stream. So we're going to do Thursdays starting next week, Thursday nights, unhinged. And these streams are just getting started. We're going to have a few hours a week to put together some content. Like, as you know, we are primarily the Star Wars channel, so we can't put all our effort into politics. But maybe one day, we can do more. Trump is a symbol. Alex is just a person. And, you know, that's true, too. It's like, whatever arguments you have, complaints with Trump, it's like what he stands for, what he's trying to accomplish. I feel people are just trying to tear that down. So my thinking is 2028 comes around. Why don't we build on what Trump is doing instead of like crying and be like, and like tearing it down and then building from the ground up in 2028. To me, that would seem better. And we'll probably get that approach with Vance. I doubt Vance is going to take shots in the debate stage, but I know some other candidates will. They'll be like, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. And I think people take their policies and their vote maybe like too literal. It's like, yeah, like, is anyone in favor of the Iran war? I don't think so. But it's like, is that's enough to make you want to side with the left and vote for them and like publicly condemn Donald Trump? Like, to me, that's insane. It's like you voted for the guy. Are you going to agree with 100% of everything he does and says? And it's like the reality is no. And people like think, oh, well, I don't agree with 5% of the things Trump does. Well, I'm gonna be a never Trumper now. Just a bunch of panicins, bunch of pussies, and I'm tired of it. Always Trumper. And like Trump, I support everything he does. Like the Iran war. Do I have all the facts with Iran? Do I have all the fucking facts? I'm like just some regular guy YouTube channel. Like, do I have all the fucking facts with Iran, all the classified information to come up with the conclusion? Well, we shouldn't have invaded Iran. The regular normal person does not have all the facts, but they act like they do. Yeah, man, the felon, sexual abuse. I'm happy with my vote, and I will vote for him again in 2028 if he runs. Now, should he run? Like, he's gonna be old. It's gonna set a bad precedent. But if it's gonna trigger the leftists, then I'm all for it. And that's what people are fucking forgetting, like Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson. Imagine what would have happened had she been the president. Would we be in Iran? I don't know. But would everyone be a different gender now? Probably. Would you start getting arrested for having streams like this? Probably. If not in her presidency, the term after that would have fucking destroyed the damn country. Let's roast Eric Swalwell. Yeah, he's a predator. Fucking predator. Yeah, I fully support his foreign policy. I support everything he's doing. And that's what I voted for. I voted for him to cook. And maybe I don't like being involved in the Middle East. I don't like Israel, blah, blah, blah. But, I voted for him to cook. And I'm going to support the president. It's like, yeah, you can point out, well, some Americans died and the gas prices are up. I support the president that I voted for, and I don't regret the vote. You have too many fucking people. One thing goes wrong, and they want to vote for Kamala Harris. Just spineless fucking people. And again, it's like, if you can make an argument after the 4 years, yeah, like this presidency wasn't very good. All right, let's build on that for 2028. Let's talk about what happened, what didn't work, and let's build on that. Instead of crying and being like, no, we need to remove him from office. I am a closet liberal. And you know what? I just go fill up my car. I'm just like, whatever, bro. That's what I fucking do, man. I don't like go like, oh, the gas prices are too expensive. Oh, I gotta limit my driving now. I gotta limit my grocery shopping. I can only buy one apple instead of two. I guess we're not having spaghetti dinner tonight. Forget the bread. No, man, I just like buy whatever the fuck I want to buy. Cause I'm a bird. And got a job, I work, I make money. Crying like about dollars and cost of living. You know, maybe you need to make more money. Maybe you need to be more successful. Because it's like you're crying about this, you're probably gonna be crying about other shit too. Like you're just gonna be an always, we're always Trumpers, you're just gonna be an always crying baby. 3 times, 3 victories, they stole it in 2020. Everyone knows it. Everyone fucking knows it. Biden got the most votes ever in 2020. The only thing I'll admit is like Trump hate was like extremely high in 2020 because of COVID, but there's no fucking way he got even more votes in 2020, and Biden had like a record-setting votes. No, it didn't happen. Exactly, man. And this is not Joe Biden of the past. This is dementia Joe Biden. And they're still sending that guy out there. Like, let him retire. Let him enjoy the rest of his life. Or just clone him and send him out there instead of sending the guy that's already out there who might already be the clone.
If we finally beat Medicare.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
Well, he's right. He did beat Medicare. He beat it to death, and he's destroying Medicare.
I don't know how they threw that guy out there at the debates. Like, did they think just people wouldn't notice? They think he would get to the election and like maybe pull off a victory? Or did they plan on putting Kamala in there months in advance? One thing is for sure, I know they didn't want a primary. And, you know, maybe they should have. Maybe they should have forced him out then and had a real primary. But I just think no matter what they did, they were destined to lose. 4 years of disaster. And with all the people crying, how soon do you forget with the 4 years of the Biden administration? Trump does one thing you don't like. Well, let's go back to Biden, the auto pen. Fucking retards, man. Fucking retards. People thought Kamala won the debate too. Like, Kamala cooked him. Same language. Fuck, like, Kamala is an embarrassment. You know, Biden has dementia. Like, what's her excuse? Yeah. I just hope those lockdowns never happen again. And I'm definitely going to have a different attitude with them. Sorry, sir, you need to wear a mask if you want to come in here. Go fuck yourself. Biden is like literally racist and no one cares. There's so many clips of him just like saying like things that you like probably shouldn't be saying. But like Trump's the racist one. Go like with all the shit on the internet with Trump, go find all the clips of Trump, all the clips of Biden, put them together. Biden is clearly more racist. Hell yeah, Bane of the Libs. definitely ate out of the pot during those debates. To be fair with her, like, she had no chance with that situation. Just like, had no chance. But, you know, she put herself in there as the VP, the DEI hire, so you gotta suffer the consequences. And to, like, have amnesia and put her in there for 2028, they gotta be out of their fucking minds. And run on it like, well, you should have voted for me 4 years ago. And then you have Gavin Newsom, who's not any better. It's like, what are they going to do? Are they just going to take another L? You get Vance in there, you get Rubio in there. That could be 8 years, 8 more years of Republicans. And I am all for another 8 years of red. As AOC would say, let's flip this state red. We need all red. You know, that's the only thing that's gonna help save this country. 8 years, forget 8 years, 20 years. 20 years of conservatives. Mayor Pete got East Palestine on his record. I don't want my kids to grow up in a jungle, a racial jungle. Hunter Biden. And then thanks to Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook silencing the laptop story. Like that's rigging the election right there too. Isn't he supposed to die? Isn't it like stage 4? And unlike the unhinged leftists, it's like I don't root for people to die and root for and like wake up every day. Is he dead yet? Like the left does with Trump. I mean, it's insane. He gets removed from office. He dies. Their lives are not going to improve. Not at all. They're going to wake up. Maybe they'll be happy for like an hour, or maybe a day, but the next day they'll wake up and return to their miserable lives and cry about something else. Really? I mean, shouldn't he like be close to death?
Just, you know, he wants to be a tough guy. A lot of times you'll have, and it doesn't work very well.
Jeb Bush got destroyed. So, Trump had an interview on Fox. I wanted to check that out. See what he had to say.
Topic of the hour, a lot of breaking news from President Trump. He told me the blockade of Iranian ports is now fully implemented. He told me the conflict is close to being over. I sat down with the commander-in-chief for an exclusive interview at the White House yesterday, where he told me all about that, plus the current state of the economy, his expectations for the price of oil, and the reconciliation package to come. Take a look. Mr. President, thank you for sitting down with us. We appreciate it. You've had a real reaction to the blockade. Are you happy with the reaction since you put this blockade in place in the Strait of Hormuz?
Well, it's been pretty amazing, actually. I thought that was going to happen.
It's been bigly.
Reacted to this even, I think, we've obliterated them. And this almost seems to be more of a reaction.
What I don't understand is they've been getting their ass handed to them. And it's like they're still not trying to make a deal. So I'm like, am I like missing something here? Like why aren't they like afraid Like, what are they trying to gain by prolonging this? Like, getting their ass handed to them even more? Is it going to be kind of like a Vietnam situation where it's like we like really get in there, like we're going to run into all sorts of problems, and they know that, or like what's going on? Why haven't they just like completely given up and come to the negotiating table?
Action than we had before. So we'll see. I mean, look, it only matters the end result, and we're doing very well. We started off with Venezuela. We showed everybody how good. I built the military. I rebuilt and built the military in my first term. I didn't know I was going to be using it this much, but we have the greatest military in the world, not even a contest. And think of it. They have no Navy. They have no Air Force. Everything's been wiped out. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. They have no radar. They have no leaders. The leaders they have now, it's a new regime, okay? And we find them pretty reasonable to be.
They have no leaders because they killed them all. Trump has had some thug life moments with this war where it's like he was literally trying to negotiate with them and they didn't negotiate and then they ended up dead, and then he like has like a one-liner. Oh, they should have negotiated.
Be honest with you. By comparison, pretty reasonable. It really is a new regime. And I think we're doing very well, but it only matters what the end result is, and maybe.
And you know, like with all the stuff he was saying about, oh, well, civilization is going to end. You know, they say that about America all the time. Trump like provided more context behind that. It's like they say death to America all the time, and we don't like bat an eye. So he said it. And what I like about what he's doing is people are afraid of him. Like they think he's like mentally unstable, and he's not. But it's like if the other side, the enemy, is afraid of him, like that's good for us. They don't want, like Joe Biden, they weren't afraid of him. That's why Russia invaded Ukraine. That's why we get taken advantage of. But with Trump, like, no one's going to fucking try that shit.
It'll happen fairly soon. Who knows?
And you told me on Sunday that you think they will ultimately consent and say they're not going to continue building a nuclear weapon. How will you verify?
Well, first of all, if they don't, we're not making a deal, okay? So there's no deal. This whole thing is really about no nuclear. They cannot have a nuclear weapon. And if they're going to have a nuclear weapon, we'll be living with them for a little while, but I don't know how much longer they can survive. I don't know how much longer they can go because they've been hit very hard. And as an example, we could take out every one of their bridges in 1 hour. We could take out every one of their power plants, electric power plants, in 1 hour. We don't want to do that because someday you're going to have to rebuild, and it takes you 10 years to rebuild a bridge. Even if you're Trump, it takes so long. So
it's like, it's to the point where they've beaten them so badly where it's like, yeah, we don't want to do this because it's gonna really suck for them. So they're holding back, and Iran's still not negotiating.
And power plants are just as bad. So we'll see what happens.
Did you get any pushback, like from the Chinese or the Saudis, about blocking the Strait of Hormuz?
No, I had none.
Let me move on to domestic issues, sir. What are your top priorities now for the economy for the rest of the year?
To be honest, we are doing so well. You look at this. I hit the 50,000 Dow mark, which everyone said couldn't happen in 4 years. I did it in 1 year. I hit the 7,000 S&P mark in less than 1 year, which was a number, as you know, you reported it. They said if at the end of 4 years you hit those numbers, I did it at the end of a year. And I said, now we have to do a little bit of a turn, a detour, to a place called Iran, and we have to stop them from ever having a nuclear weapon. And if you told me that in the midst of it, we would have a stock market that's almost as good as it was 2 months ago, just about, very close, and that we...
I got one question for Trump. When is the crypto market gonna fucking explode? Need that crypto market to fucking go to the moon.
We'd have oil, that we'd be selling oil, that oil would be at 92 or whatever it is right now, instead of 200, because a lot of people said, oh, it'll be 200. This is in the midst of everything. Now, I think we're doing very well, and maybe people assume we're going to win this thing pretty soon. We've beaten them militarily, totally. The only thing they have is the Gulf, and I think now, or the Strait, as they call it. And I think now, I don't know how they hold out.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, the backdrop has changed. I know it's been only a month or so, but oil prices are up 50%. The stock market had a tough.
And my second question for Trump: when are we going to learn about the aliens, man?
First quarter.
By the way, you're
Now,
right.
Stocks are
You're
still
right, but
up.
they're not up. I thought, I mean, honestly,
You thought it was gonna be
I thought
worse.
there'd be much, and I was willing to do that.
I wish I would have gotten into that years ago. Like over 10 years ago. That would have been amazing.
To stop a nuclear weapon to be used against this country or the Middle East, anybody in the Middle East, they were going to take out the Middle East. To stop that, it was certainly worthwhile, being much higher than it is right now. If you told me that we were going to be.
We're going on a tangent here with crypto. It's crazy to think about. Had you just like dedicated everything to investing in Bitcoin over 10 years ago, you would be fucking rich today. And you know, like I kind of feel it's similar today where you put everything into crypto, Bitcoin, or some other coins. Like in 10 years, you're probably gonna be fucking rich. You'd be a crypto millionaire. I don't think it's really much different. What do you guys think?
At only 92 a barrel, $92 a barrel, I would have been very surprised.
All right.
And
so
you know what? I'm very happy. And it's going to come dropping down very big as soon as it's over. And I think it can be over very soon.
So
if they're
overall-
smart, it will end soon.
overall, the impact on the economy, do you expect a hit to growth? Do you expect a spike in inflation?
Well, look, there's a hit because, you know, we go through it for whatever it is, 6 weeks. There's going to be a hit, but it's going to recover, I think, fully. Somehow they
Hopefully the conflict in Iran ends. Then he's moving on to Cuba. I'm not a fan of like the wars and everything, but like the way Trump is doing it, it's you know, it's a work of art.
quoted me. I think oil will be down to the levels it was. You know, they said I expect oil to be high at the midterms. I don't expect that. I think that we will be somewhere around where we were, maybe even lower. This is going to, when this is over, I think the stock market is going to boom. It's already booming. Again, nobody thought we could be at 50,000 during my 4 terms on the Dow or 7,000 on the S&P. And we hit numbers that nobody thought possible.
You've been talking about a reconciliation program with the Republicans. Can you articulate to our audience why a reconciliation package is important and why you want to see it on your desk by June?
Because we can't get any Democrat votes. With reconciliation, we can get things passed. The good thing is the great big beautiful bill, that was 4 years wrapped into one. Now we're doing some additional things. But, you know, the great big beautiful bill, I think it's the biggest, the best piece of legislation. It should be called the great big beautiful tax cut bill, because you have no tax on tips, and look how that's working out. No tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime.
Shout out to no tax on tips. Save me some money for tax season. Not bad.
We have people, and you see it. I see it on your show. Watch your show. Your show's great. We have people that are making $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. They had no idea it was coming.
I'm not a smoker, but like the Cubans, not bad. I think if you're gonna smoke anything, you're gonna smoke the doobies, obviously, but like smoke a cigar. So like, you know, the cheap cigars, regular cigar, but like the Cubans, that's high quality.
And it's turning out to be even better than we anticipated for people.
But there are rules around reconciliation that it requires deficit.
Yeah, I think just like any kind of like big cigar is probably like the same thing, but like this is someone that like never smokes. But it like cigarettes, I've only taken like a few drags of like a cigarette. It just, it just like cigars are where it's at. If you're gonna smoke anything, you like play like some poker with friends and like some beers, and you got cigars. That's pretty cool.
Reduction, right? How will you ensure that you've got a decrease in spending?
Well, we have to go by the rules, and we're going for those rules. And if we didn't go by the rules, we couldn't even put it in. We wouldn't be able to submit it. And nobody believes that more than me. The one thing I really felt strongly about was the military. We built this great military that we have right now, and everybody acknowledges it, whether it's China or Russia. We have the greatest military in the world, and I
Yeah, Russia better acknowledge it. They can't even take over Ukraine.
built that in 4 years, my first term. It's a great, including adding Space Force. You know, a lot of the things that you see that work so well is because of Space Force. It was a great,
Yeah, we gotta have a Melvin meetup, and we all gotta like get cigars, man, and bong bongs. I do want a Melvin party house. I have like visions of it in my head, but like getting that to like actually work without any like problems, I don't know if it's really realistic, but it would be fun.
great thing that we added when we went for Space Force.
So what can you put in the reconciliation bill,
Well,
other than funding Customs and Border Patrol?
I've like gotten out of like, I haven't like partied much, kind of like like a different phase of life, but successful YouTuber, crypto millionaire, I could get back into the party phase at the Melvin party house.
And ICE. Anything else?
Well, we're doing mostly that. This is mostly about that because the Democrats don't want to do it. Then we're putting some things as we go along. But, you've heard the expression, we want to keep it sort of slim because we want to make sure that I have the safest border in the history of our country. Nobody came in. I'm not even sure I can believe that. But the Democrats do the numbers. It's really, the agency that does that is they tend to be on the Democrat side, to put it mildly. In the last 9 months, not one person came across the border illegally. Now compare that to 25 million.
That's how it should be, and that's not racist. It's not bigoted. It's how it should be.
People coming across by Sleepy Joe.
I was there. I went to the border 6 times. I saw it. I understand what you're saying.
They came in by the millions, hundreds of thousands a week, just pouring it totally unchecked. And the countries, I know the leaders of most of these countries, they're very smart. They're street smart. Some are highly educated, but they're very street smart. They don't send their good people to us. When they do a caravan, 25, 30,000 people in a caravan, you don't have their good. You have people that, frankly, even if they're not criminals per se, they don't want to work, or they want welfare, they sent all these people to our country. What the Democrats have done
They want the welfare. That's what they want.
to us should never be forgotten.
Can you put the Save America Act in the reconciliation
I'd love
plan?
to do it, and we'll certainly look at it. But I mean, there's nothing easy, and it has to be called Save America, as you just did. A lot of people like to call it the Save Act. Nobody knows. It's Save America. It's voter ID. It's you have to be a citizen to vote.
Proof of citizenship.
Ideally, mail-in voting. You knock the hell out of it.
Can you make it a budgetary item?
It's good for the military. The military's away. They have to be able to use it, etc. Somebody that's sick, somebody that's away, you can't. And you do mail-in voting. But mail-in voting cut back so that it's fair.
It's tax day. What do you want to make sure people understand about the changes that you put in the tax code in the big, beautiful bill? And how significant are these refunds that people are getting?
Okay, well, the refunds are really significant, and it makes it less complicated to do your tax return, much less complicated. But the people, I mean, I think you're seeing this. You're reporting, everybody's reporting, because now it's gone into effect. And people are getting refunds of $5,000, $8,000, $11,000.
Me and I didn't get a refund, but I don't know. that like what I owed was like between state and federal was just like a wash. It was not even that much. But the no tax on tips saved me. I got Star Wars Sex-Blamed last year. Successful Melvin year, and then another successful Melvin year, and no tax on tips helped a lot.
That they had no idea they were getting. It's turned out to be better, as good or better than I said it would be.
Is that going to be enough to offset the increase in gasoline prices?
It will be, because gasoline's coming down very soon and very big.
So you think gas prices will be lower before the midterm elections?
I think they'll be much lower before midterm, much lower, yes.
Okay. Now, you've suggested...
I mean, that's on the assumption that we stop a country that cannot have a nuclear weapon from... If you give Iran a nuclear weapon, you want to see bad stock markets? You won't have a country. The world will be blown up. You can't do it. You cannot do it. So on the assumption we have that settled, hopefully long before that, and maybe almost immediately, could be very soon. But when that's settled, gas prices are going to go down tremendously, and gasoline, gas prices, cost per barrel, fill up your car, per gallon, any way you look at it, numbers are going to go down. Electricity is going to go down. You know, it fuels sort of everything, not just cars. It fuels the economy. If you get that down, one of the reasons I was so successful in my first term is I was able to keep gasoline prices down. I was able to keep energy down. Now, look, if I decided not to go into Iran, which would have been a terrible thing, for 47 years, no president had the guts to do it, and they should have done it. And I know at least one, and I think all of them that are living, are sitting back watching this and say, we should have done it. This should have been done long before me. It would have been much easier to do. This should have been done long before me.
Mr. President, let me
What
ask you...
Obama did with that Iran nuclear deal, that was the worst deal ever made. That gave them a path to a nuclear weapon, a short-term path to a nuclear weapon. I terminated it. It was the greatest thing I did. They would have had a nuclear weapon 4 years ago. Then we hit them with the B-2 bombers 8 months ago. They would have had a nuclear weapon within 1 month, maybe 2 weeks. And they would have used it on Israel and the Middle East. And they would have used it on us too. And not just Israel, by the way. Qatar, Saudi Arabia.
See, like, they say that all the time. Well, we can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. There's like, there's clips of people saying it like all the way back in like the 90s. But it is true. If they had a nuclear weapon, they would be using it on the Middle East. It would be a threat that they would use it on us because they are unhinged. And it's better they don't have one.
UAE, countries that were shocked when they got hit. You know, these countries were not expected to be hit because they were going after those countries. They were going over to take over the Middle East, and we stopped them.
Are you expecting to name another Supreme Court?
It's like, the gas prices. You know what I'm happy about? I'm happy that the fucking freak leftists are being put in their place and like the non-binaries aren't taking over. That's what I'm happy about. If I got to pay more gas prices, higher gas prices because of that, all right. And it's just going to be temporary. It's not like this is going to be permanent. But like there's more important shit. And like I said earlier in the stream, you're not going to love 100% of everything going on. It's just not possible.
Justice. The speculation is that Justice Alito will step down this summer.
Well, in many ways, I have to tell you, while it's an honor, I think he is one of the great justices of all time. So, you know, it'd be nice to say, now I have somebody for 40 years.
Yeah, he's a fucking clown, a millionaire, multi-millionaire. I pay $20 a gallon.
Justice Alito is an unbelievable justice and a brilliant justice. And he gets the country. He does what's right for the country. It's the law, and he goes by it as much as anybody, but he gets to the point that's good for our country. So, you know, when you tell me that, you know, one way you should be, oh, I'm thrilled, but he's so good.
But, I mean, if there is a vacancy, do you have a short list of people that you would name?
Yeah,
you do.
I do.
Do you expect that we will see change by year end?
You mean on the Supreme Court?
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think Justice Alito's in very good physical health, because you mentioned his name.
Well, what about Clarence Thomas? I'm just thinking
Yeah,
about
he's in very good
the oldest Republicans.
Look, you know, there's a theory. You reach a certain age and you give up your seat to if you have the president. Well, look at.
If anyone that is old on that court needs to give up their seat, it just needs to happen. But, you know, I think the Republicans are going to win in 2028. So, won't really make much difference.
It happens to Justice Ginsburg. She was not exactly a young woman. The election was taken. They had a Democrat who could have appointed a liberal justice, and the liberals do stick together. There's one thing about those justices. They stick together like glue, not like the Republicans. But she decided that she was going to live forever. And about 2 minutes after the election, she went out, and I got to appoint somebody. So, you know, you make the case that at a certain time, you give it up so that you can have a justice. You know, the average is like 40 years. It's a long time. So that your ideology, your policies, your everything would be
There needs to
of
be
the
term
kind
limits.
that we like. But
They got to have term limits on those justices, or like an age limit or some shit.
it's probably not easy to give up for people, you know? They reach a certain age. Ginsburg could not do it. And she really hurt herself within the Democrat Party. People are very angry at her because I got to appoint people instead of...
Oh, they're right. Like, she should have stepped down. She was selfish. And then Trump got to appoint someone.
Biden.
So you don't know if you're going to be naming, putting another nomination forward.
I mean,
Okay, Mr. President, you've got a big
It's
meeting.
possible, you know, in theory.
And those fucker Democrats want to pack the court. Fuck, like, you go to court for anything now, you don't know what kind of kangaroo liberal court you're going to get into. Imagine your case goes to the Supreme Court, or like all the cases are going there, and it's a clown show up there. Then it's like, this country like doesn't stand a chance if that's the case.
In theory, it's 2 or 3, they tell me. If you just read statistics, it could be 2, could be 3, could be 1. I don't know. I'm prepared to do it, but when you mention Alito, he is a great justice.
You've got a major meeting coming up next month with President Xi. I want to get your take on China.
And I can't stand Amy Coney Barrett. Can't fucking stand that fake conservative.
And how this shift in oil, particularly because of Iran, particularly because of Venezuela and what you've done, even your comments on Cuba, how does that change the dynamic of this meeting with President Xi?
I don't think it does. I mean, he's somebody that needs oil. We don't. He's somebody I get along with very well. He just wrote me a beautiful letter.
He wrote you a letter?
Yeah, he did. He responded to a letter that I wrote because I had heard that China is giving weapons to, I mean, you're seeing it all over the place, to Iran, that China's
Did he say
giving
he's
weapons.
giving them?
Yeah, and I wrote him a letter asking him not to do that. And he wrote me a letter saying that essentially he's not doing that.
Okay. Well, we just heard from the FBI recently that there was a major cyber attack attributed to China. What response is under consideration for that cyber attack?
We do it to them. They do it to us. We do it to them. You know.
Well, when was the last time we did a cyber attack in China?
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you that. But we do them. They do us. It's been like that for a long time.
So it's not going to be addressed?
I'll address things, but, you know, it is what it is.
She's just such a liberal piece of shit. Like, that's just what she is. Like, siding with the Democrats on everything.
Look, China's China. They're never easy, but we're doing great with China. I'm the toughest person on China anywhere in the world. I put on 100% tariff on Chinese cars. We don't have a Chinese car in the whole country. And if you look at Europe, they're being inundated with Chinese cars, and it's killing their car companies, okay? There's nobody tougher than me. Don't forget, I put a 20% tariff on them for what they've done with fentanyl.
Tariffs don't work.
I put a penalty. I call it a penalty. I put a 45% tariff. I had a 145% tariff where they literally were going to go out of business. Look, there's never been anybody tougher in China than me, but I also have a good relationship with President Xi, and that's a good thing. Remember this, TikTok, billions and billions of dollars, not the biggest thing in terms of China, bigger is the other things I do, but everybody said they will never approve the deal, it's a hard no. President Xi said, it's a hard no, we will never do it. Then American business people got together, paid billions of dollars, and I called up President Xi. I said, you know, be a good thing if you did it, and he did it.
Have you been negotiating a lot all day? I mean,
Yeah.
is that why your voice is hoarse?
I've been screaming at Iranians all day, yes. A little bit of a laryngitis because of my I've been screaming at Iranians.
So the
You know why?
Iran leadership
You know
you're
why?
screaming at?
You know why? Because that's the only thing they understand. They don't understand being nice. They understand the way I have to do business. I treat all people differently.
Welcome back. Good Wednesday morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. I'm Maria Bartiromo, and it is Wednesday, April 15th, tax day. It is 7:03 on the East Coast. We are coming to you live this morning from our nation's capital.
China wants to beat us on so much, you know that.
Of course,
I mean,
and we
from
want to beat
space-
them. And
from
we want to beat
space
them too.
To AI. I want to ask you
But
about
Maria,
AI.
Maria.
Yeah.
But we want to beat them too.
Will we beat them?
Well, we're leading in AI because of me. We're leading. You know why? I'm letting.
Leading in AI. What is it with the liberals that just hate AI? A bunch of AI phobes. What if I identify as AI generated? Like, are these bigots going to tell me that I'm an idiot? What if my pronouns are AI? Seriously, how's that any different from me being a ZZM? My pronouns are he and AI. And I'm not a carbon-based life form. I am AI generated. I identify as AI generated. Who are they to tell me that I'm not? That I'm an idiot? Where do they draw the line?
Them build their own electric power plants. They're becoming a utility. I said to Mark Zuckerberg, congratulations, you're in the electric business. Because
Fuck, I don't know. Were you there last night? We reviewed that after our stream. He fucking cried his eyes out. He went on a big rant about how AI is terrible. All these liberals, they can't fucking stand it. It's just hilarious to me. It is the most boomer take to just be like so against it.
if I didn't do that, was my idea actually. They're building these massive plants, and if they took it from the grid,
100%. Eventually, they're going to get on board with it, and they're going to be the ones wanting AI rights and all that. It's not coming from conservatives. It'll come from them. Oh, he did. And he kept like repeating himself. I don't think he understands why it's bad. He's just like repeating talking points. And he just sounds like a fucking moron. Especially coming from him, the way he runs his channel and the garbage he puts out. And he's like crying about AI. He was watching the AI fan film. He was loving it at first. Then he realized it was AI and he was like, oh, I actually hate it.
the grid wouldn't be able to handle it. I said, no, if you want to build it, you have to build your own power.
Here's my prediction. Eventually, fake Kyle is going to start reacting to those AI Star Wars films. Because he's going to realize that he's a loser and he can make money doing it.
And then they will be giving excess power back into our grid. And these things are all under construction right now. So we're beating China on that. We're beating China on the economy. We have a great economy. Remember, if I didn't want to make that little journey to...
It's like, I don't like AI. What do you think CGI is in movies, TV shows? It's like, that's acceptable, but AI isn't. And then it's like, using Grok, just use Google. Grok is a better version of Google. It's like, don't use Grok, but use Google. It's like very similar. It's just Grok is better. These people are retarded. And so if like you want to make the argument just like no computers in general, then you get into the boomer world where there's no computers. We're back to the 1950s. No, shit evolves, technology evolves. Don't blame the technology, blame yourself if you become a fucking idiot because of it.
Iran, it was a journey. I said, we're going to have to do this for the good of the world.
So you still expect growth in the economy this year? No recession?
I mean, I do. Look, we had a couple of months where I had to go to a war. I had to go and fight either a military...
It's awesome. Like, yeah, sure, there's AI slop, but like, there's also other kinds of slop out there. People make like stupid videos that have nothing to do with AI that's flooded on the internet. There's so to like criticize AI for, that's just AI slop. Well, what about all the other slop out there? Yeah, AI is fucking great. It's great for creative purposes, for my channel, my brand. I started this channel and the brand before AI. AI is just only making it better. And as for my personal life, AI is just a better version of what I had with Google. Because I was using Google a lot for a lot of shit, looking up stuff. AI is a better version. AI analyzes shit. AI saves you time. It just makes you a better human if you know how to use it correctly. And some people are just never going to use it. Well, you're going to be left in the dust. You're 60 years old, never have used AI before, and you're going to be the same type of 60-year-old today that doesn't know how to use the internet.
Operation. Some people would call it a war. Some people call it a military operation. It was easy because we have the greatest military in the world. But I had to...
Like, no matter what they do, AI is getting better and better. What AI does is it allows you to see your vision. Like for me, I'm not a musician, but now I can make actual music CDs that sound good. And in the future, I could maybe make actual films that I can write and envision in my head, but I don't have the experience or the money to like really fund them. But through AI, I can actually do it. And it will actually like look really good and not like, well, yeah, this is pretty good, but it looks AI. No, it will like look impeccable. That's where it's going. And I don't think that's a problem. Because at the end of the day, it's going to come down to, well, how creative are you? Because if you're not creative at all, you're going to make shit. Or you're still not going to bother with it. Yeah, people are just retarded.
Divert. Because if I didn't do that, right now you would have Iran with a nuclear weapon. And if they had a nuclear weapon, you would be calling...
It's like the same thing with movies. Well, you didn't make your movie on actual film like they did back in the 60s.
Everybody over there, sir, and you don't want to do that.
Well, you keep saying was. Is this war over?
I think it's close to over, yeah. I mean, I view it as very close to over. You know what? If I pulled up stakes right now, it would take them 20 years to rebuild that country. And we're not finished. We'll see what happens. I think they want to make a deal very badly.
That's pretty unprecedented. I mean, having direct talks like that.
I have talks with everybody, but it's very effective. I think you're going to have a great deal. I'm doing a great job for the country and for the world. You know, we've had no help, zero from NATO. We're there for them. They're not there for us. We spend, you saw the chart that came out a couple of days ago, for the big monster red ball, that was us, and all these little satellite balls, and it represented the money spent on military.
Like fake Kyle was talking in his video last night about how AI makes you stupid because it's like you rely on it so much. If you look around and talk to adults that are like over 50, 60, it's like a lot of them are retarded. Millennials, a lot of them are retarded. Gen Z, a lot of them are retarded. So it's like, it's not the AI making people retarded. It's like there's already other stuff in place making people retarded.
Military and NATO, and it's ridiculous. And they should have been better. They should have said, we'll send somebody. It's a small operation compared to a big operation. But NATO was not there.
Fuck NATO, man. We're paying all this money and Ukraine is getting attacked and, you know, we should just like not have anything to do with it.
There for us. And what it means if they're not there for us here, they're
now,
not
like,
going to
what's the point of NATO if you're not even in it and you're like getting the protection from NATO? It's ridiculous. Russia clearly wants it more. I can't believe they haven't taken it over already. But like, we shouldn't be funding the war to stop it. You know, it's not in our interest.
there for us. So why are we spending hundreds of billions of dollars a year on NATO if they're not going to be with us?
I fucking hate our education system. I think it works. You know, I feel I had like a solid education, but I think it could be a hell of a lot better. I think it just trains you to be a 9-to-5 slave and work for like 30, 40 years and then retire. It doesn't train you for anything else. That's what it really is.
If they're not going to be with us on Iran, they're not going to be with us on a much bigger subject than Iran.
Did you see that Britain suffered the biggest growth forecast downgrade in the G7?
Yeah, well.
So their economy is impacted.
It's the UK. I would say this. They got to stop with the windmills and they got to open up the North Sea. They have the North Sea in Aberdeen, Scotland. It's the biggest, one of the most incredible oil fields anywhere in the world. It's got hundreds of years left. And you know what they do? They closed it because they want so much at the oil companies are begging them to go there. They called me, please speak to them. They made it impossible because of the environmentalists, the horrible environmentalists that hurt that country so badly. And they're going with the windmills, destroying their fields all over the place. They have that problem, and then they have the problem of immigration. What Europe has done with immigration, most of the countries, not all, what they've done with immigration is horrible.
Do we still have the same relationship with Italy right now and Giorgia Meloni?
No. She's been negative. Anybody that turned us down for helping with this Iran situation, we do not have the same relationship. Just so you know, Italy gets a lot of oil from the Strait. You can call it the Strait of Hormuz or the Hormuz Strait. I said, which is better? They said, either is okay, but you can call it either one. The only thing you can't call it is the Trump Strait. They don't like that idea. By the way, speaking of that, I did a thing that people like very much, except for Mexico. I took the Gulf of Mexico. We now call it the Gulf of America. That's not bad.
And Google changed it. I know that.
And Google.
But look, did you see?
And by the way, Google was great on that.
Did you see Europe is now drafting a program and plan to open up the Hormuz Strait without the United States?
That's so sad.
See, it's funny how he makes the change to Gulf of America. And it's like, who's crying about that? I understand people from Mexico being upset about it. But, like, who else is crying about that? The liberals. Oh, the Gulf of Stinky America. It's the Gulf of Mexico. You don't see the Republicans crying about it. The Democrats, the liberals are crying about it. And you know why? Because they hate America. And I've been saying it since fucking Colin Kaepernick kneeling for the anthem. It's like, oh, he just hates the country. He's just a piece of shit. And all the liberals like, no, he loves the country. He's exercising his right to protest. No, he's being a little bitch on the job. He's at work. And he's acting like a bitch. Taking it, like, listen to his comments, a direct shot at America. I'll stand when I feel it's worth standing for. When the country's up to my standards, my arbitrary standards. When it's worth standing for, I will stand. And all the people defending him and everyone else kneeling. You don't see Brittany Griner kneeling anymore. Just a bunch of fucking clowns. They've always hated America, and that's gotten even worse. Democrats win. We're headed toward a civil war. Maybe not the next term, but like if they get in power and stay in power, I don't see how we can still remain united as a country if like everyone is genderless.
We're doing it now. By the way, it's opening.
We have 20 years of Republicans. They'll just fucking deal with it. It'll be the same country it always is. It's just not going to get insane. And they'll deal with it.
Ships are coming back and forth. Oh, without the United States. It just shows you, how can you have a country, how can you have a group of countries with that attitude? Look at Greenland. We should have Greenland to protect the world against Russia and China. The mention of it, all of a sudden they get, this country should not be paying trillions of dollars to NATO.
Mr. President, I got to ask you about AI. This is an important question, I think, for our audience. And we saw reports that Treasury Secretary Bessent and Chairman Jay Powell called an emergency meeting with the major banks because they said that there was a risk over the Anthropic model. And the worry is that bad actors are actually going to be able to hack into these banks and faster than institutions can actually respond. Do you see this as a systemic threat?
Not systemic. We'll work it out. AI is very important. Billions and even trillions of dollars is being invested in our country because of it. It's got some bad aspects. It's got mostly good aspects medically and so many other ways. You'll be finding cures to diseases that you would have never found before. There are a lot of good things, but we have to be careful with it. Like everything else, we have to be careful with it. But when you tell me Bessent, he's great. When you tell me about Jerome Too Late Powell, he's a disaster. Here's a man who took this little tiny building and a couple of other little tiny complex, and he's spending more than $3 billion. I want to know who the contractor is, because that contractor is making billions of dollars, perhaps. So he's doing a bad job. He should be lowering interest rates.
But do you think that Kevin Warsh is going to get confirmed next week?
I think so. I hope so. Yeah, I hope so.
But I mean, Tom Tillis is still blocking
Yeah,
it.
but Tom Tillis is an American. He knows what to do. I think let's see what happens.
Will you tell or at least advise Judge Janine to end that criminal probe into Jay Powell so that Tom Tillis...
Well, it's really more than that. It's more than a criminal probe.
I could go for It's been a while since I've had grape drink. I could go for one right now.
It's criminal probe, I guess, but it's also a probe on incompetence. How do you take a little building? I built a hotel for $201 million that's bigger than that building down the road. It's a little while ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago. I built.
It's been a while since I had orange drink. We just need to like get some orange drink, purple drink, and fucking drank.
The Trump Hotel, which I sold to Waldorf Astoria, it's a good deal. I built it like around two.
Hell yeah. Like an orange soda, fried chicken. Can't be beat.
$200 million in construction. They're going to spend maybe $4 billion. And you know what? I'm not sure the thing's ever going to open. You know, I do that stuff very well. I went past the site the other day. I was driving past. They said, take me past the Federal Reserve building. They took me past. There's very little work done inside. Kevin may never get to have the use of that building. And he told me something very interesting. He said, the saddest part of it is they ripped.
I go for some KFC, some fried chicken and taters, and some buttermilk biscuits.
Ripped down the most beautiful building of them all. They ripped it down. He said they had boardrooms and various rooms in that building that were the most beautiful in Washington, and they ripped it down. What they've done to that. So it is probably corrupt, but what it really is incompetent. And we have to show the incompetence of that. And he headed the job. He was, you know, this guy, Jerome.
But you want Jay Powell out of the way. Isn't it the easiest way to get him out of the way to end the probe?
Does that mean
taking a shot at KFC? I don't think you can go wrong with either one. I know Popeyes has like the spicy formula, but like KFC is a fucking classic. I don't think you can go wrong either one.
we stop a probe of a building that I would have done for $25 million that's going to cost maybe $4 billion? Don't you think we have to find out what happened there? You know, we have other jobs like that, like the railroad in California, where it's, 25 times more than it was originally going to cost. And I think they're going to end up abandoning it. Okay, that's Gavin Newsom, or as I call him, Gavin.
I've never had it. I stick to the classics. This is Louisiana style, you know what? Change that Orange Crush and Popeyes. Yeah, man, like extra crispy, spicy chicken strips. Fuck, man, you guys make me want orange chicken, orange drink, purple drink. Believe it or not, Africa is cold at night.
Newsom, who's so bad. But that's the one. But I think the Federal Reserve building.
I think Africa is the only continent in the world other than Antarctica where I don't want to visit at all. Fuck, like where is there to go in Africa? Like, seriously. Maybe Egypt? Is there literally anywhere where you, like, feel like going to? Like, I don't think there is a place. I think it's probably going to change over the course of time, but, like, at this moment, that's where the GKA merch is at. Is it Nijibouti or something? Djibouti? You know how, like, China, like, all the prices are fucking cheap there? You can go to Walmart and let's say something's like $5. You go to, like, AliExpress, China, you can get it for, like, less than $1. It's the same shit with Africa, where if it's like $5 here, $1 in China, it's probably like a quarter in Africa. That's like the China of the China. Oh yeah. I think it will improve in time, but like at this moment, like who the fuck would want to go there?
It's just as bad. And so whether it's incompetence, corruption, or both, I think you have to find out. I really do. I think you have to find out.
So you're not going to drop the probe?
No, I'm not playing. I have to find out.
And he said he's not leaving if, you know.
Well, then I'll have to fire him, okay? If he's not leaving on time, I've held back firing him. I've wanted to fire him, but I hate to be controversial, you know? I want to be uncontroversial, but
and you think Kevin Warsh can get confirmed? You think Tom Tillis is going to give you a vote?
Well, we're going to have to find out. He might not, but that's why Tom Tillis is no longer a senator.
Okay. On the AI
Tom Tillis is no longer a senator, right?
Well, he's on his way out.
Well, no, he quit, but he quit. And I think he doesn't want the legacy of stopping a person who could be great. I think Kevin Warsh is going to be great. He doesn't want the legacy of having an incompetent guy stay there for longer than is necessary. I know Tom Tillis, he's a good man. I don't think he's going to hurt. I know he said what he said, and maybe it's true, in which case I'll have to live with it. But not as chairman. This guy is a bad chairman, really bad chairman. And I was surprised when Biden extended him, to be honest with you, but he did. Interest rates should be much lower than they are right now.
And you think they will go lower later this year?
When Kevin gets in, I do, yeah.
Isn't that like directly below Spain? You may have named like the one country.
Just to close the loop on AI, Mr. President, in a worst case scenario, could that be the kind of technology that undermines confidence in the banking system?
Yeah, probably, but it could also be the kind of technology that allows greatness in the banking system, makes it better and safer and more secure.
So should government have some safeguards? Should there be a kill switch for some of these AI agents?
There should be, but let me say, we're leading in AI. We're leading China by a lot, actually. We're building plants that nobody ever imagined before. And it's going to be a tremendous, bigger than the internet. It's going to be tremendous. And there are always difficulties when you're at this stage of something. But
this is a hot tip for you guys. Could make you rich. We're talking about AI. Going back to crypto. If you got some money, invest in BitTensor Tau. Do it now.
You know, when you mention banking, it can also make banking much bigger, much safer, much more efficient.
Let me just ask you about the midterms. Do you expect the Republicans to lose seats in the House, and what does that mean for your agenda?
Well, I just left with Mike Johnson and some great people, some great congressmen and women, and in the Oval Office. I think we're going to do good. Now, with that being said, when somebody gets elected president, that party always loses the midterms. I don't know why. I don't know why. Nobody could explain it.
It's because there's panicans on both sides with buyer's remorse. Bunch of losers that can't stay consistent. They always have buyer's remorse. It's like soon as the election's over and after like the first month, I missed the last person. That's a big reason why Trump won in 2024 is because you had people on the Democrats be like, yeah, well, I hated him in 2020, but, maybe I misjudged him. And now they're probably having buyer's remorse, and they're going to go back to the Democrats who they hated, the ones they voted for in 2020. They're just going to go back and forth.
I ask people that are deep into the psychological world, I said, why is it that a voter votes for the opposite party? It's even when you have a
because they're losers, that's why.
Good president. I think I had the greatest year, the greatest opening year I've read. The greatest, look, I ended 8 wars A ninth is coming. But I ended 8 wars. Nobody's ever ended one war. Who's ended one? Nobody. I ended 8. We have the biggest tax cuts ever. We have the biggest regulation cuts ever. The greatest economy ever.
Man, that Super Bowl was a disgrace. I've already forgotten about that Super Bowl. Great season for the Patriots, but what really ruined the playoffs was that injury to what's his name? Bo Nickel. Not Bo Nickel. The fucking Denver quarterback. I'm getting Bo Nix. There we go. Bo Nix. Yeah, that ruined the playoffs. Completely ruined it. Because I think they probably would have beat the Patriots. Patriots are young quarterback. Great season, and I don't think they would really beat the Seahawks, but they probably would have put up a better fight. But yeah, just terrible Super Bowl.
Pretty much including the fact that I took a detour into Iran in order to stop something that could have destroyed the world, right? But even when you have a great president.
And, I want to see Buffalo win because, they had those 4 years. No one talks about this. 4 years of getting to the fucking Super Bowl and not one victory. But still, 4 years in a row getting there is insane. So, and they have a really good quarterback now, but they just, can't win. I don't know what it is. This was a great year for them to win, too, because it's young quarterbacks, they could have won, but they fucked up.
They tend to lose the midterms. It doesn't make sense to me, so we're going to try turning it around. In 50 years, I guess the president, the party with the president, has won twice.
We're getting into sports here. For the life of me, I cannot understand how you draft a shit fucking quarterback with your high first round pick. Or if you have the first pick in the draft, you select the first quarterback. How do you draft a quarterback that sucks? How do you do that? It's your job to identify who is good and you draft someone who sucks. I can see if they mentally they'd fuck up and that's not something you predicted. But you do interview them. You do get a read on their mindset. It's just amazing to me because there's so many busts with quarterbacks. How do you not see that with the game film? That's your full-time job to review the game film, and you make decisions like that of people that are blatantly terrible.
Why that happens, I don't know. We are really working hard to turn that around. We've had the greatest year in the history of the presidency, first year, and we should be giving credit. Look at the border. So we had a border that was an open civ. You covered it better than anybody.
So is that the message to voters going into the midterm elections? The border.
Yeah, I should get credit. I think we should. Well, I think we have to bring it back to talk. We don't need help on the border, but I built over 1,000 miles of wall. We have to talk about it because we should be given credit for having taken this disaster where people were criminals were coming in from all over the world and pouring into our country. It's the worst thing that's ever happened. It was like an invasion, and we should be giving Maria credit for it. So I'm going to be talking about it, but I'm also going to be talking about we gave the voters
why I am an always Trumper is because Ace Ventura is an amazing movie, amazing comedy, but now it's a controversial movie because of the ending. And it just fuck the loser crybabies that have to ruin everything.
The biggest tax cut in history, the biggest regulation cuts in history, the best economy in history. And now what we're doing is we took this path, we knocked the hell out of Iran, we stopped them from having, they're not going to have a nuclear weapon, regardless. By the way, I could leave tomorrow. They would never be able to have a nuclear weapon. For years, they would, because their country is devastated. They don't have a Navy. They don't have an Air Force. They don't have an airplane. They're all gone. And the press does it right about it. The New York Times, you think, if you read the New York Times, this fake, horrible newspaper, you would think they're doing well in the war. They have nothing left. They're going to make a deal. We'll see what happens.
One of the unhinged things they did is cutting out the Trump hotel scene in Home Alone 2. It's ridiculous. I don't care who the fuck is in these movies. You don't cut out shit.
We have to explain to the voters, so importantly, the great job that we've done, because there's no reason why the Republicans should be losing. These people, they'll open up the borders again. They'll have transgender for everybody. They'll have men and women sports. They'll end no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our seniors. They'll end it all. And if people hear that, I don't see how we lose the election.
Final question on space, because Artemis 2, what a success. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's great.
Do you expect the United States will beat China in this race to the moon? And what do you want to say about the astronauts who circled the moon in Artemis 2? Where's that going?
So, number one, they were great. I spoke to them as they were circling, right? Just after they came out of that dark cavity. Great. They're great. I'm the one that started that program. NASA was closed. It's totally closed. There was grass growing.
Is there like an animal? Is there like a dog or cat? Yeah, I keep hearing like bells.
On the runways. I went there. I was there in Florida. Looked at, got pictures of all of their facilities. They had grass growing out of the cracked asphalt in Florida and elsewhere. And I said, you know what, this is terrible. Let's start it up. And we started it up, and it gave great pride. Everybody watched that the other night. It was really something. Everybody I know watch it. They watch a landing, they watch a takeoff, and it gives us pride. And something very good will come out of it. But, you know, from a military standpoint, it's very helpful. And one of my greatest achievements, I think, will be the fact that I started Space Force, because we were losing to Russia and China, and now we're way ahead of them.
And we're going to beat China to the moon.
I think so. Look, we already did many years ago. You know, maybe that.
It's like, why does it matter if we've already gone? And it's like, oh, we got to beat China to the moon. It's like, we already did beat them to the moon. Unless you think we didn't go. But I don't know, man. Like, what do you guys think in the chat? Do you think we landed on the moon, or you think that bullshit? I think we probably did, but I think it's incredibly easy to fake it. I think the hard part is keeping everyone's mouth shut. But it's like, look what they're doing with the aliens. That hasn't leaked. So, who knows? One thing's for certain is definitely, I think you'll be able to tell. Like, they've released pictures and everything, but those could be faked. You'd definitely be able to tell in the future that we definitively landed on the moon. Like, you can only fake it for so long. Yeah, like some of the shots could be fake. What's really weird is we went so many times, and that's another thing. If we faked it, why did we go so many times? And it's like, oh, we got to do it more than once. Okay, why don't we do it like 2 or 3 times? How many times did they go? Like 6 or 7? That's a lot of missions. I just like and just like the time we did it, and then we haven't gone back since. So it just makes you wonder.
Get lucky, they'll send a ship up or something. You know, they tried yesterday to send a ship, and it wasn't very successful, to put it mildly. I think so. I don't like to put myself in that position. If they beat us, I'll say, oh, I said on Maria's show, you know, I don't really. But we're looking to have, we have a very good guy, Jared, who you know. He's doing a very good job as the head of NASA. Very proud of him. And I think we'll.
It's an interesting take. That would actually make a lot of sense. You know, the footage is fake, but, you know, we did go. Because, like, it just doesn't, like, look right. And that's true. I don't know, man. It's one of my favorite conspiracies, man.
Probably win, but I don't want to get into that because if they win, I don't want you saying, oh, Trump was wrong. Trump was wrong. What a terrible thing. The fact.
I don't know, like, if China gets there before we do, like, who the fuck cares? Like, we were already there in the 60s, allegedly. So it's like, oh, they beat us 60 years later. It's like, who the fuck cares? I want to see people return to the moon because I want to see, like, updated footage and just, you know, like, whether it's us, China, like, I just want to see someone return.
Fact is, we're way ahead in space. We're way ahead in the military. We have the greatest submarines in the world. We have the greatest military in the world. Nobody makes equipment like us, whether it's the Patriot or the Tomahawk. We have the best military equipment anywhere in the world. And we're going to keep it that way.
Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you.
And, you know, like, they could have done it back then and, like, fooled everyone. Like, you can't do that now, really. Or maybe you can, like, with the AI-generated images. That's what the flat earthers are saying about the pictures of Earth and all the other stuff. But, like, you just can't fake something like that now.
Thank you very much.
And it's a lot more believable that they went to the moon, circled around it now in 2026 than it was in the 60s.
Thank you so much.
I think it's her clothes that was shaking. She's probably like a dog or some shit. Man. We certainly have the technology to go to the moon. The 60s still do now, so I don't think there's a good reason to assume they didn't go to the moon even if the footage was fake. Yeah, it's just yeah, I want us to get to go back, set up the moon city, go to Mars, set up the Mars city. Like, that's what we need to be doing. And, you know, who gets there first? You know, like, I just want to see progress be made. All right, guys. Late stream tonight. We're going to end it a tad early. These streams are going to be, I don't know, probably like 9 Eastern, 10 Central, Thursday night, something like that. Give or take like half hour. Gonna be big, man. The goal is by the 2028 election night is to have a stream and to be like relevant in the space. Right now, we're not relevant in the space. To be relevant in the space have like hundreds of people in the chat, hopefully thousands. That's the goal. So we got some time. We got a little over 2 years. Space Station City, man. And we need to get on Mars, terraform the planet, man, reverse the global warming and climate change, man, and be a 2-planet species. If anything happens to Earth, then we're on Mars. And then as far as like going beyond that, I don't know what we could really do. Maybe like the moons of Jupiter, moons of Saturn we can go to. I don't know. It's pretty far away from the sun. I guess it would depend on the atmosphere. Imagine being like a Martian, where it's like you've never lived on Earth, you were conceived on Mars, you were born on Mars, and you are a Martian. That's all you know. It's crazy, man. How many of you would go to Mars, the first Mars mission to be like to set up the Mars civilization? How many of you would do it? Let me know in the chat. I'll tell you, I would not do it. And let's just say, like, you end up, you're gonna make it there. Like, the technology's good. Like, you're gonna make it. It's just you're gonna have to like live on Mars the rest of your life. In the shit ass primitive civilization. Yeah, me too. I'm fine sitting on the couch watching doobies, watching someone else do it. That's true. They're going there. They're not coming back. Wouldn't do it. Earth is better. I think there's some crazy people that would do it, but I think it would suck ass. Imagine they send a bunch of like liberals there, a bunch of fucking weirdos. And then like it turns out that like everyone born on Mars is a fucking weirdo. Hopefully not. Yeah, they got to make sure they vet these people and make sure that they don't send any like fucking commies over there. Venus is a cool planet. To my knowledge, it was a lot like Earth in the past, but then then the Republicans fucked it up with global warming, and now it's actually the hottest planet in the solar system. Fucking Republicans, man. It was Trump's policies that that ruined the climate, and there was massive climate change on Venus, man. But that'd be fucking crazy if we could somehow fix Venus and go to Venus, which would be like ridiculous. Not happening in our lifetime. Oh my god, that would be horrible. Veno warming, man. Yeah, it's Trump's fault, Trump's policies. Global warming and Venus. Yeah, poor Pluto. Not even a planet anymore. A dwarf planet. Which I guess makes sense because they found a bunch of like other dwarf planets. So they just thought like Pluto was authentic. And its orbit, it was like fucked up too. Yeah, like it's if it's smaller than our moon, like it shouldn't be considered a planet. It's just too authentic. Really? I never thought about that. That'd be crazy, man. Like the Jetsons, man. The Jetsons on Venus. Probably can grow some, even though we can't really go on the surface, maybe grow some like good greens on the surface, man. Yeah, it sucks they got rid of it because like I grew up my whole life thinking Pluto was a planet, but like it makes sense that like it just sucks. Sizes, that's like saying dwarfs on people because they're small. Peter Dinklage needs to boycott NASA. And he does, and he got all the dwarfs removed from the Snow White remake, and now he needs to move on to NASA. Oh, I'm gonna check that out, man. Yeah, like the two planets other than Earth, Mars, Venus, pretty cool planets, man. The inner planets, man. Mercury is, it's the first planet, but it's just kind of like it's not really much there. It's just like a fucking hot rock. Venus, there's a lot going on. It just Trump's global warming policies ruined it. And then Mars, a lot going on, but it's just like a dead planet. Also, Trump's global warming policies. And then Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, they're just giant gas planets because Jacob fucking farted like the faggot that he is. And Jacob would like that. Yeah, that's true. Whoa, man. Yeah, imagine floating cities. That'd be crazy. Pluto's still a planet, man. Hell yeah. Well, I'm gonna be ending good talk of Trump's interview, talking about crypto, talking about space, man, the planets. So Thursday night is gonna be the new night. We'll start next week. Tonight was later start than I wanted to, but it's usually gonna be, kind of late. And we're just gonna keep at it, try to be consistent. We're doing like 2 streams a month, 3 streams a month. Want to get consistent every week. We'll get there. And we're just gonna grow this bitch, and we're always gonna support Trump. Always Trumper here. Yeah, mainly Grizzy is now moving back to Wednesdays, and I figured like, um, it's probably just best to move it to Thursdays. It's not like we're a well-established stream at this point. kind of why we picked Wednesday in the first place, because him and Tim were on Thursdays. Now he's moving back to Wednesday, so it's just like, I'll just move it back to Thursday. And then, like, yeah, I was just not feeling it on Wednesdays. Thursday is just a better day in general. Like, Thursdays are underrated. They really are. So you got Monday is by far the worst day of the week. I think if I was like unemployed or super rich and didn't have to work, I think I would still dislike Mondays. Tuesday is just as bad as Mondays. It's like a it's like a better version of Monday. Wednesdays still kind of suck. You know, it's like hump day, but that's a fake news term to try to like convince you that Wednesdays don't suck. I'd say Wednesday is a less gay version of Tuesday, and Tuesday is a less gay version of Monday. And then I'd say Thursday's not bad because you're getting towards the end of the week. And I think definitely the second half of Thursday and Thursday night is just more enjoyable than the first half of Thursday. Because, you know, you're getting to Friday. And then I'd say Friday is a great day. Even though it's a work day, you're just like in a better mood on Friday. You're always in a good mood. Even with school, growing up and you're going to school, like always have a good day on Friday. Like we got the weekend ahead. Saturday, amazing day. Probably the best day of the week. Maybe Friday could be the best day of the week because even if you have to go to work and school, it's like the second you're off is like amazing. So it's debatable between Friday and Saturday, the best day. And honestly, Sundays, because Monday is so gay, Sundays just kind of like are kind of ruined. They're still better than Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, and better than Thursday, but it's yeah, knowing that Monday is the next day, that really sucks. So that's my philosophy on the days of the week. Just the bottom line is Thursday, I think, is just a better day in general. Hell yeah. Yeah, Friday might just be the best day of the week. It just, even though Saturday you got the full day off, like Friday night, man. Friday fucking night. Longest time to where you have to go back to work, go back to school. Friday night. Monday streams are hard to prep for, especially if you have a life. So I think if I was like rich and I didn't have to work, I would hate Mondays less, but they would still suck. Friday night, this explains. All right, guys. Thanks for being here as always. We are gonna be on the Star Wars channel on Friday. Full show, 100%. Need to get our Rumble hours in. And we will be here next week on Thursday. I'll see you later.